look, I know, JJ, you were so excited about this earlier, and he lands at number 1. So what do you think?
I mean, it's exactly what I said, exactly what I thought. I mean, this is the MVP of the league. What he did last season was just truly special. I mean, we see him do special things with his legs, and then they say, hey, this kid can't throw the ball in the pocket. We see him throw the ball in the pocket. Then we see him throw the ball outside the pocket. He was truly dynamic, man, and he kept defensive coordinators up all night long trying to figure out game plans, how to stop him. So it's well-deserved. I mean, this guy's the MVP for a reason, and he deserved the top spot.
You know, when you think about Lamar Jackson, his ascension up the top, I think it's a remarkable climb. This is a guy that wasn't taken at the top of the first round, 32nd pick, was a backup, comes in last season, and then the season that he just had was truly special, truly remarkable. James talked about him being the MVP. He is well deserving of being at the top of the charts.
I mean, right now, Ozzie Newsome is pouring a couple of fingers right now because he traded back into the first round to get this kid. And when you look, there's no argument here. Nobody's going to have beef with Lamar Jackson being number 1 on here, and rightfully so. He did things that no quarterback has ever done in the history of the game. More rushing yards than any quarterback has ever had. First one to have 3,000 yards passing and 1,000 yards rushing. So really just morphed this quarterback position, and it was like a video game, and he had a cheat code. And I think the way that he also did it too, with just being a great leader and being a team-oriented guy, really endeared a lot of people to him. So congrats to Lamar. I think that's fantastic. It's great for Baltimore. I think it's great for quarterbacks too, you know, to kind of put some pressure on some of these other guys and say, look, I can do things you guys can't.
Yeah, it's true. Listen, Lamar Jackson is straight dazzling. We've seen everything that he can do on the field. He also said today he's really good at quarantining and called himself the new bubble boy. So hopefully that means we'll see a lot more of him killing it on the field. But this was his reaction to getting that top spot.
It's heavy. Oh, man. It's crazy. Man, I appreciate that, fellas, and everyone else who voted. Oh, that's crazy. NFL top 100.
Over 1,000 players voted, and then you come out on top of the list. How does that feel?
Bro, it's overwhelming. Like, it's wild. You know, I used to always watch, like, the top 100s on YouTube and NFL Network and stuff like that. Not, like, thinking I actually be the number 1 player. Like, damn, that's crazy. I'm really speechless right now. Like, damn. Bro. I can't believe it.
Where's that trophy going to go? I mean, you got some other hardware in your house, I'm assuming.
Man, I need to start building a shelf. I need to build me a case or something to put everything in. Damn, this dope. This dope. I just need one more to join it, but this is dope right here. Damn.
That's what I'm saying. You got the MVP and now this. I mean, what are you missing?
Super Bowl. That's the only thing I'm missing right now.
I have a feeling he's going to need a lot more than a case for all of his awards. But the best part about this list is that the players themselves vote, and they've tweeted too. Lamar Jackson right there, the Baltimore Ravens. A little deal with it. Okay, love it. Then we got Niners tight end George Kittle, who's 7th on the list, tweeting he's honored. Just a kid living his dream out here. DeAndre Hopkins, number 8 player in the NFL by the players. Respect, fellas. This has got to be so cool for them. This is awesome. And then the Chiefs, Patrick was number 4 last year and ended up with a ring and Super Bowl MVP with a little shrug emoji there. Run it back. All right, I like it. I like how sassy their tweets have been lately. So, were you guys surprised that Mahomes wasn't ranked higher than 4? JJ, what do you think?
To be honest with you, I mean, from an outsider looking in, it could look like, dang, these players are crazy. Patrick Mahomes is number 4. Look at the throws and all the plays he makes on the football field. But those 3 guys that are in front of him did absolutely special things last year. I mean, you look at Russell Wilson. I mean, he willed his team to so many victories. I mean, he was that offense. I mean, that offense went as he went, and he just was a tremendous leader and willed his team to a bunch of wins in the toughest division in football. And then you think of Aaron Donald. Bucky spoke on him earlier. I mean, probably the most dominant player in football, man. Nobody wants to block him one-on-one. He stops the run. He gets after the quarterback. You can move him all over the D-line. So I think Patrick Mahomes landed at the right spot. It's tough to move those three guys in front of him.
James, it is absolutely tough to move those three guys. And it's kind of funny because what happens is Pat Mahomes has set the bar so high for himself that last year was seen as a bit of a disappointment, even though he walked away with a Super Bowl ring and the Super Bowl MVP. But remember, his MVP season in 2018, I mean, he shredded the league. 50 touchdown passes, made all kinds of plays. So after you have that kind of debut to make your way onto the list, it is hard to top that. I think we're so spoiled by Pat Mahomes because he dazzles us with his arm talent. He shows the ability to be an improvisational wizard, and he's been able to win at a high level. I think we've been a little spoiled by his success. That's maybe why we're grading him a little harshly, which is why he was number 4 on the list.
I agree, Bucky. There's a little bit of a bell curve with Patrick Mahomes, and I think when you look at the fact that he's in the same spot that he was last year, no, I definitely thought he should have been had a better spot. I think I would have possibly swapped him with Russell Wilson at 2. I think the fact that Mahomes missed time because he got hurt, and of all plays, he got hurt on a quarterback sneak. That doesn't happen very often, but I think the other thing that works against Mahomes is when you look at the talent around him, Kelsey at tight end and Tyreek and Sammy and Cole Harbin outside in Andy Reid's offense, that probably hurts him a little bit because he's got all that talent. JJ, you mentioned Russell Wilson. Who's been doing more with less than Russell Wilson? It feels like every week it took a 4th down, a 4th quarter drive for him to will his team to victory. I'm happy for Russell Wilson that he's number 2 because this is the first time he's broken the top 10. But I don't think anybody would be upset with Mahomes being a little bit higher than 4.
Listen, could Mahomes be higher? Of course. But hasn't he won enough this year? Let's spread the wealth around a little bit here. You mentioned Russell Wilson coming in at number 2 on that spot. I mean, JJ, where would you have ranked him? Do you feel like that's a good spot for him?
I do. I mean, I'm not saying that I want him over Patrick Mahomes, but off of the season of what he put on tape last season, man, he dominated, and he was that team's offense. He doesn't have, like Sean said, he doesn't have all the star power around him that he can depend on to make some plays. He does this with his legs, with his arms, and he wills his team to victory, man. And the Seattle Seahawks, without Russell Wilson, do not see the playoffs, and is probably sitting at the bottom of this division. Russell Wilson is their team. He's the leader of their team, and he makes all the plays for that team. He is their offense. So I love exactly where Russell Wilson is at, man. What he put on tape last year, he deserves to have that number 2 spot and be as high as he was.
Absolutely, because I think there is some debate between Lamar Jackson and Russell Wilson based on just the value to his team. Russell Wilson does so much for his team. There's a faction of the 12 men that say, look, let Russ cook. Let him do his thing, because what happens when you look at the Seattle Seahawks play, they run the ball over and over and over the first 3 quarters. They lean on their defense. They may find themselves behind in the 4th quarter. And lo and behold, Russell Wilson is asked to bail them out of another jam. That's what he's been able to do. That's what he almost did in the playoffs against the Green Bay Packers. That is how Russ Wilson gets down. And his ability to take what he has, which doesn't appear to be a lot of star power on the perimeter, and make this offense go, really endears themselves to players because, look, players respect guys that can lift the fortunes of the team through their own will. That is what Russell Wilson does.
All right, so what does he have to do, Bucky, to get to number 1 on this list? If he does all of those things, do you ever see him actually getting to that spot? A little audible here.
Oh, he has to hoist the Lombardi. He has to get the Seattle Seahawks to win the Lombardi trophy. The last time we saw Russell Wilson in the Super Bowl, we saw that interception to Malcolm Butler. That prevented them from being back-to-back champs. If he wants that number 1 spot, he has to win it all. That's the only thing that's keeping him back.
Ooh, that's tough. That's tough because we all know, hey, this is voted before the Super Bowl and the playoffs, Buck. So he has to really go out there, man, and in this regular season, he has to dominate. And I want to say it has to be a season kind of like Patrick Mahomes had, you know, with the 50 touchdown passes and things like that. But with him, I'd rather take a couple more touchdowns with his legs and things like that. But he has to have this team number 1 in that division, and he has to go out there and he has to throw some more touchdown passes, in my humble opinion, to get that top spot.
Look, we all know that the Pacific Northwest sometimes feels like you know, sometimes it feels like the Pacific Northwest is another country. So really, for Russell Wilson to be number one, I mean, he's going to have an MVP type season. He's going to have to do what Lamar did. He's going to have to do what Mahomes did 2 years ago. It's going to have to be that type of statistical season for him in order for him to get that kind of recognition. I know he's not so much worried about number one as much as he is bringing that Lombardi Trophy back. But when you look at what the moves that the Seahawks are doing with trading for guys like Jamal Adams, he's not going to have to throw for 5,000 yards with that kind of defense.
No, that's true. All right, so listen, Sean, I know that you have some feelings here on Christian McCaffrey, where he landed on this list. So what's the deal? What's wrong?
When you look at Christian McCaffrey, what he did, you know, the last time a running back was number one on this list was Adrian Peterson after, of course, his 2,000-yard rushing season. But when you look at the statistics and the total scrimmage yards, you know, Christian McCaffrey had an unbelievable year. 1,000 receiving yards, I mean, that is 5 times the amount of receiving yards that AD had. And I think you look at McCaffrey and it's, you know, wow, why didn't he rank higher? Why didn't he get more votes? He was on a bad team. Not only a bad team, but a team that offensively had 3 different quarterbacks. One of them was a rookie. And, you know, I think when you look at what Christian McCaffrey did for that team, and he was basically their offense. 52% of his production, of the team's production, came from him. So from that standpoint, man, he's the best player. He's the best player in the league. I think quarterbacks obviously get much more attention and get more of the votes, but Christian McCaffrey, for what he did, it's phenomenal. And look, when you look, only three other times in the NFL has anybody at running back had that kind of production.
Yeah. Obviously, the Panthers really had to rely on him last year to do pretty much everything on offense, it felt like at times. But listen, Sean, you're going to have to, I guess, file a grievance with the league or whatever the committee is putting this together, all of the players, about 1,000 players that voted in this. But in the meantime, we will always have this list to cherish. Gentlemen, thank you.